I think a lot of people, when they reach, that age of, 30 or their mid 30s, they start to realize that they don't have all the answers that they thought they had back in their 20s, right? Or that life is going to be way different than they thought it was going to be. And that's a startling thing to wake up to every day. And it gets worse as you get older.
I know you. I know this guy. You're Damien.
Are you Jeremy Davis? Dude, my little sister loves you.
That's a long time ago now.
Hey, you can't fail if you don't try.
We're directing and acting and producing. At the end of the day, James and I, we work as a team to make decisions, on everything within the production. And then, for him, especially, he directed 7 episodes and I just did 1. But I can just tell you from the one that I directed, it was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. I even, bigger nerves than, my first day of being on set ever. It's almost like no matter how much you're prepared, once you walk on a set, you can really just kind of throw that out the window because all different curveballs and things unexpectedly are going to happen, and you have to be able to deal with that and move on the fly. And that's the kind of stuff that only, that takes experience to really be able to overcome that.
I remember there was a moment like almost halfway through shooting, about a week into the shoot, when all of a sudden our funding was very uncertain. The rest of our funding that we had from a private investor was like suddenly a little bit uncertain. And we really didn't know what the rest of the shoot was going to look like without that money. And so you finished a long day of shooting that you think went really well, and then all of a sudden you're huddling with producers going, oh no, are the wheels going to fall off this thing? Right now, is this the moment? and you just have to stay positive, and you have to stay focused on how to adapt to a situation like that and push forward. And thankfully that one worked out wonderfully. But there was a lot of those moments. There was a lot of those existential moments where we all just had to, hope for the best.
Show ended 5 years ago. I'm sick of it.
It's time to work. I'm gonna play. I need to get on stage.
The 3 of you need to really have a long, hard look at yourselves. You're gonna start losing your friends, starting with me.
It's important for us from the beginning to write a world that we knew very well, because we are not traditionally comedians by trade, and we definitely respect what those guys do. But for comedy to tap into a very unique and kind of specific dark comedy, we felt like we knew just by our conversations over the years of being in the industry, around the business, in certain situations we found ourselves in, we felt like we could take these collective stories, map them onto some different characters, and build a world that we had a unique point of view into, and share that. And so we started with a lot of circumstances that we kind of knew, whether it was I could say coming out of working on One Tree Hill and getting back into Los Angeles and getting used to auditioning again, and that whole process. It's one thing to be an actor and work on a set for a TV or film. It's another thing to walk into rooms and audition for 2 minutes and walk back out, while they got a revolving door of different actors coming in next to you. And you're reading with somebody who's a 21-year-old male that's playing your 50-year-old mom. So it's stuff like that where there's an adjustment period, getting back into that muscle, for auditioning was something that was not a smooth transition back into. So stuff like that where I found myself in definitely before, and can relate, as these characters are going in there and trying their hardest, especially mine, Seth. He's going in there, he's trying to prepare as often as he can and knows everything like the back of his hand, but then goes in there and then a curveball's thrown at him and it just dive bombs and just totally tanks. So I can relate to that. I've definitely been there a few times in my life. It's a part of the game.
Look, I think we wanted to start the show from a place that everybody could relate to. So that's dealing with things that all of us go through. It's losing, it's failing in a relationship. It's having to start over and find a new career. It's having to lean on a friend, that might not be going through a good time in their own life, so they don't feel capable of being leaned on. it's having troubles with not just your relationships, but your friendships as well. Going through those feelings of self-doubt, or I don't know. I just think it's all that stuff. It's all very human stuff that we wanted to explore, and we wanted to mine the humor out of it, most importantly, right? We just thought that this was, because these characters, in the context of their lives, everything seems so great for them, then it would be really easy to laugh at, the more sort of human things that they're going through and how they deal with those things. I think a lot of people, when they reach, that age of, 30 or their mid 30s, they start to realize that they don't have all the answers that they thought they had back in their 20s, right? Or that life is going to be way different than they thought it was going to be. And that's a startling thing to wake up to every day. And it gets worse as you get older, that realization. And that's something that we really wanted to explore with this. And we thought that was kind of universal.
Maybe being 30 is just slowly realizing that you don't know anything.
Are you doing coke at my engagement party?
Latin America has been super supportive of us, our entire careers, from One Tree Hill to crowdfunding this show. We've had a lot of people reaching out from all over the world to say, hey, when is it coming to my country? When is it coming to my country? And it's been really hard to just keep it, close to our chest, to not be able to release it, to not be able to show anybody. And now that it's finally here, it feels like it's like Christmas morning for us finally. It's really a special moment.
Oh, I flew here with cocaine. Big deal.